Dormiu sim.
Daytona Beach
Daytona
is a
Beach
beach.
dormiu. Daytona Beach dormiu.
Early this year, my wife and I had the chance to travel to Florida for a class with the greatest performance shooter of all time, Eric Grauffel. And at this point, I haven't been practicing, training, or doing anything because of some injuries, and to make things worse, as Paul would have it, I was the least among the saints. You had figures like the modern samurai and Hwanchi Kim, and I must say, I was the least prepared of all shooters in the class, and I was in for quite a ride. The most exciting part about the class for me was the chance to discuss Eric's unique grip, because I needed a technique that allowed me to shoot at a high level while minimizing the deleterious effects on my joints and connective tissue. And I know a lot of people don't like when instructors talk a lot during classes, but I must say this was one of the best 1.5 hour long talks about grip that I've ever witnessed. Eric is rather prolific despite English not being his first language, and he's able to communicate things to you individually in a way that most instructors just really can't. Now, it isn't just that I hadn't been shooting for a few months, but I also hadn't been diligently taking care of my body as I should. And being that his grip requires a lot of scapular and shoulder engagement, I found out I was way less ready for this than I anticipated.
Are you really pushing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have an issue. Then here?
Yeah.
Here? From here by pushing. Aha. Now yes. Now yes. Pushing. From this one. Oh, it's much softer.
What the hell?
Let me show you. So this is my hand. If I am not using my weekend, you have to do this.
Huh?
You see, I create naturally the tension here, but you see it's not going forward.
Yeah.
It's actually doing what? Going backwards slightly
A little bit.
with my weekend because it's rotating around this. And right now I'm doing this. Now we're good. Practice it, I'll come back.
And having one, if not the most intellectual shooter of our generation with me at the class certainly did help. Hwanchi is another non-English native that's constantly finding ways to communicate to shooters what's happening at the highest level of our sport. And Hwanchi has done the push-pull method in the past. Despite it being a little bit different in Eric's technique, the experience of isolating your scapular muscles and shifting that mindset from gripping with your hands to gripping with your back and shoulders is rather transferable here. The technique is truly fascinating, guys. It's one of the things that once you get it and you can reproduce it, you're surprised at how little effort it takes to reproduce better results than before.
No, and I'm not even gripping that hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
The work has to go over here.
Exactly. Key and gold in that sport to be able to shoot slow. If you're able to shoot slow, you're definitely a match winner. Right now, you shoot, you get the sniper guy, the guy that controlled the shot and guaranteed the shot. When this is down, you get the sprinter, gets in to the next board, and then switch again. Transfer, change personalities. Bam, bam, move, shoot, move, shoot.
I was hitting it pretty much in the middle.
Pretty much in the middle with no respect of the rules. So if you were shooting in the middle and you will be on the closing side, I would say, okay, he's a little bit too much in the middle, he understands. But it's completely erratic. How is it shows? You shoot it. So which means you have absolutely no control on how you shoot. It presents, you break the shot.
You see, Eric is the embodiment of Ephesians 4:15. He will look you in the eyes with a pure face, a kind voice, and he'll tell you what you're doing is a sad mix of lack of self-control and discipline. And you can tell he's genuinely interested in your success. He isn't annoyed at your skill level. He isn't pissed that you did the same thing again. He's just committed to your improvement as a shooter.
Time is good. Score is not.
Let's talk.
One of the things you tell me consistently is like you need to be able to do all of these things with all of the intensity that you have, but you need to shoot slow.
Mm-hmm. I heard him say that too a couple
So
times.
it's like, dude, but yesterday was like so much because I was finishing the drills before everybody else every time. Apparently, I am fast enough, or at least I can be if I am, moving fast enough, or as fast that causing me pain the day after. It's the stopping, and as soon as you went like, and then you go, that's like pretty much like how it is, man.
Think of it as a meme.
Yeah, really. He asked me what happened here, and I said I just wasn't visually precise enough. And he says, well, in this sport, there's no room for imprecision. You have to be in control of everything. If you don't know where you're shooting, you're not in the game. If you don't see where things are going, you're not in the game. And if you need to slow down to be able to do those things, you're never gonna win. Like, okay. All right, well, you're never gonna win. Yeah, so it's a different mentality. But what I've learned is like shooting with anger. So you come here, you're aggressive, you're taking all of this stuff, you move out, and you come here, you do your thing, you clear, you move out, and with him it's like, no, it's not like that at all. It's like when you move, you're as athletic as possible, and that's what you're doing.
And one of the things that really stuck with me is his approach to position entries and exits. I personally tend to come in a little bit too hot, and staying low all the time just hasn't really been working the way that I want it. And because my brain is only capable of so much, I like to bounce these things off my wife as she helps me process and internalize what's being communicated.
In this case, you actually could try something different. So if you're gonna run to the strong side, right? This is basically a standing reload. Or you have the option of holding here, running, pull the leg, punch, and go. So he says like what he tries is, since he always keeps his gun high, he says like you could, because for a second, this is your motion. And you could just do this real fast.
That's like doing it over your shoulder though.
I didn't even try that. So just grab the mag, running out, foot, and so you're punching here the mag, coming back, and you're good on target. And he will do the exact opposite of what so many people do. Like I was taught to bend, he stays here, so he can already move and basically keep the same plane. He's like, no, keep moving this stuff.
Yeah, that's what we
Because
were
you're
talking
athletic.
about. Yeah.
So he will like run, he's in this position, he will start running and everything, and you're decelerating. To decelerate, you have to get low. And as he's reigniting, he will come back up. People are like, well, doesn't that cause like target deviation problems and everything? And he says, yes. Well, look at the target.
Yeah.
Where's the A zone? Is it here? No. The A zone is here. So if there's some movement that could happen,
It's up and
this
down. Interesting.
not this movement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So trying to be like sideways stable could be in a sense like more risky than, you know, this.
I'm not really one for taking notes in shooting classes, but I did write quite extensively about this one. Eric's attention to detail, from like hit factor scoring to the powder and grain he's using, from counting fractions of a second and playing with moto logic just to assess the best plan, to like how heavy you want to be, like body weight as a shooter. He's just a complete shooter. There's a lot of instructors that shoot well. There's a lot of them that are obsessed with detail. A lot of them teach well, and even a lot of them are quite entertaining. Eric is all of the above. Really, this is the most complete class experience that I know of. There's a lot to chew on, a lot to rethink, and it's a great experience if and only if you have an open mind and are willing to seriously try new things. So after this mentally and physically demanding class where I shot almost 3,000 rounds in 2 days, it was time to head over to Volusia Country Club for equipment check and match registration.
We arrived at Volusia Country Gun and Hunting Club here in Florida. We're near New Smyrna Beach. We're gonna do the first thing we do in IPSC matches. This is my first IPSC match, so I asked around what I need to bring. You need to bring your belt and your guns for them to check and make sure that your equipment is compliant, that it's safe, and make sure that you're not gonna have any issues during the match. So we got our sheet here. This is my receipt. Basically, it has all of the information of my firearms, all of them that I brought to use at the match. It has the information of my belt. Because I'm shooting production optics, there is a hip bone rule where all of the items have to stay behind my hip bone, and magnets are not allowed in my division during the stage. So I need to put where my magnet is. It's way far back. And in this way, every time you come at a stage, they can check your receipt, make sure that you have been checked and vetoed by someone, that your equipment is good and you're ready to go to the stage. So during the stage, maximum that they're gonna ask you, because they haven't asked during equipment check, is to check your ammo and to check your magazines. You can't go inside because you're not under the RO supervision. You could do something to the targets and stuff like that, so it's not, in IPSC, you're not allowed to just go in and start doing whatever you want for as long as you want. As we learned from Eric Grauffel's class, what we want to do, we want to make sure that we can take a target. If it's a moving target, that we have something else that we can do in case there's a miss. It's going to take about 2 seconds. So you have some work that you can do in these 2 seconds. You're going to stand somewhere here. You could not take this target on the way in, or you could not take that target on the way in. Move to this target. Here, take that pin. Finish on the swinger. Otherwise, you finish the stage and like, oh, you waited, like it was a mic, it was a delta or something, and now you have to wait to take it. When you could just, you know, very different stage from the stuff that we are used to. We normally don't have a stage that we are walking around like this, you know, like this is pretty. Very wide angle, you know? It's as close to 360 I've ever been. 34 shooting with Randall and Jake.
Excellent. This is for sure a marathon, not a sprint. 30 stages over 3 days.
Yeah. You pull a muscle on the first day trying too hard and you're kind of done. Yeah, for real. You don't think about it, but you know.
It's a lot of short and medium courses.
Yeah. Lots of stages where seemingly, oh, you don't need that many points. It's just 12.
Just 12, right? 60 points.
But every single stage is just
exactly.
12. There's 30.
40 points on this stage and 40 points on that stage, and then next thing you know, you're a 40-point deficit. That's hard to pull back from.
So in IPSC, you have a rule for the level 2, 3, 4, 5 matches, you have to have a certain ratio of long courses, medium courses, and short courses. You can't have a place that just does a bunch of short or just a bunch of... You have some sort of reasoning behind everything that's happening.
Like 105?
Yeah, you got it. 105. Exactly. 105 points.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. 105 points. Very good. So this stage costs as much as 2 other stages. So you fuck up this stage, it's like you just ate 2 stages of the match. You want to know where the bathroom is, like where the stalls are, because the last thing you need to know is find out that you're the shooter, like after him, and your stomach is rumbling, and you can't find a place. After all of this pro advice, after walking all of the stages, we figured out all of the logistics. So all that's left to do is really to just go back to our place, eat, rest, make sure equipment is ready, and make sure that we are ready for the next day. And if you're looking forward to seeing what the next episode looks like, subscribe. See you next week.